Hi, I'm Michelle Jackson, and I'd like to welcome you today as we take a look at the X-Guide Dynamic 3D Navigation System by XNav Technologies. Surgical navigation has caught the interest of dentists around the globe for its ability to help you place the implant more exactly where you want it. There are many clinical benefits to having the implant placed in the ideal position, angle, and depth. So today we're going to take a look at the X-Guide, and we're going to understand how it delivers that accuracy with co-founder and VP of Sales, Chris Scharf. Let's turn it over to Chris.
Hi, I'm Chris Scharf. I'm the VP of Sales and one of the co-founders of XNav Technologies. I'm excited today to talk to you about the X-Guide 3D Dynamic Navigation System for more accurate implant surgeries. The X-Guide is like GPS for your handpiece, giving you real-time turn-by-turn instructions, and the system gives you exact position, angle, and depth, all based off of your implant plan, and it tracks you in tenths of millimeters and tenths of degrees. The benefits: better prosthetic function, better aesthetics, reduced failures, and then the X-Guide allows you to operate as minimally invasive as you choose. If you're just starting your search now, or you've been looking at the technology for years, this is a perfect time to come look at it. Digital dentistry has been discussed over the last few years, but recently with the X-Guide has become the digital connector for digital dentistry and the digital dentistry workflow. It allows you now, for every implant, every patient, every time, to attach the intraoral scan, the CT, and the lab, giving you more opportunities for custom healing abutments, immediate provisionals, from singles to full arch and fully edentulous arches. Just as the CT transformed your practice, the X-Guide brings the next level of surgical predictability to your office. The CT gave you the morphology of the bone, and now with 3D dynamic navigation, in real time, you're tracking the tip of your burr in reference to your plan, again in millimeters and tenths of degrees. Let's take a tour of the X-Guide. From the ground up, the X-Guide has been designed for the workflow of your dental practice. The X-Guide is a self-standing cart, and it's on wheels. It's very easy to move from room to room. The size of the base of the cart and footprint is just under 2 foot by 2 foot, allowing this to fit in all clinical settings from the smallest operatories to the largest. Down at the base of the cart is where the X-Guide has its supercomputer. This is the heart of the X-Guide system. It's high-performance pumping speed and accuracy to not only control the robust and easy-to-use planning software, it also gives the system its real-time navigation with high accuracy and incredible software graphics. This makes the system very easy to use. With this supercomputer, the possibilities are limitless. Let's now move on up to the X-Guide's viewing display. We have a very large display on a swivel arm, which makes it easy to set up during surgery. And the large display is critical so that you can pay attention to your target to get your high precision and accuracy. One of the views that I want to point out to you is our patented X-Point target view. This is impressive and unique to the X-Guide system and allows for its ease of use. The X-Point target allows you to look at one spot to get real-time position, angle, and depth all to your plan with the CT anatomy underneath. This allows you to be precise and accurate for every implant, every patient, every time. Now let's focus on another unique and patented part of the X-Guide system. This is the navigation assembly. This is the eyes of the X-Guide. The two stereo cameras that you can see look down at patterns attached to the patient tracker and to the handpiece tracker and track and triangulate position. If you notice the blue light, that's our blue optics technology. This ensures that there's no white light interference caused by other systems. When the cameras focus on the patterns, you can wear a headlamp, have a giant surgical OR light blasting on the patterns. The white light will not blind the cameras and cause blinking and loss of navigation. That blue optics technology is unique by keeping all the interference out and making your tracking continuous. Now I'd like to show you another important feature of the X-Guide, which is our flex arm. This is a 6-foot arm which holds the navigation system. This is important. The most common position of the X-Guide during surgery is down by the patient's feet. The 6-foot arm allows the cameras to reach up and over out of everyone's way and out of your sterile field. Being able to move the camera system around allows the doctor and patient to be in multiple positions. The machine will work with the patient laying down or upright, the doctor sitting or standing on the side of the patient or behind the patient. This allows the X-Guide to work in any office and surgical setting. Now let's try the X-Guide out. The X-Guide is an open system for implants and burrs. So when you go to first drill your first osteotomy, simply touch this plate. Everything is sterile. And in about 2 seconds, the cameras read the patterns on the go plate to the patterns on the cylinder. Now I know where the tip is in space. With the X-Guide, you get real-time system checks in this center window. Anywhere you're touching on anatomy, you should be touching on the system in that window. This ensures that you're accurate before you go drill your osteotomy. This was already a planned implant. We're going to touch down on the osteotomy and you'll notice that the target automatically blows up. This is again our X-point target, giving us position, angle, and depth in real time. The blue circle with the white X is the tip of our drill. So just as you would do freehand, you put the tip of the drill in the X, that's the center of the virtual implant that you planned. The green circle is like your push button, and we want to rotate that till the green circle covers up the blue circle, and now we're ready to perform our osteotomy. You'll notice as I'm now getting deeper, the yellow is the depth gauge. I've drilled about 2 millimeters now to plan. We also mirror the depth gauge right on the platform of the implant, again giving you one focus point of view. With any planned implant, we always end at the 9 o'clock position on the target. Whether it's a 10 in this case, or an 11 or a 13, it'll always end at 9 o'clock. A 0.5 millimeter before plan, you'll notice it turns green. And we'll drill till it turns red. Red just means stop, you've achieved plan. If you notice, the angle deviation has been less than a 0.5 degree as I've been drilling and speaking to you. Freehand angle deviation from the literature is 8 to 10 degrees. This is that precision and accuracy that the X-Guide gives you. Now for the next implant, I plan it and it's parallel in the software. Once again, I do a real-time system check to make sure I'm accurate, looking in the center windows, and I'm ready to start my next osteotomy. Touch down on the target automatically blows up. Align the tip of the drill in the X, that's for position. Roll the green circle around your push button so the green covers the blue, and we'll now start our second osteotomy. Again, noticing I'm drilling at under a 0.5 degree, pretending to let my irrigation in. And even when I do that and go off, my angle deviation is only spiking about 1.5 degrees. I'm mostly staying under a 0.5 degree the whole time I perform the osteotomy. Again, drilling till it turns red. So now you've seen us use the target, and we carried out the target perfectly. We've also planned the implants in a software parallel. So now they should be perfectly parallel when we look in the mouth. So let's put our pins in and take a look. Perfectly parallel, just like we did on the plan and just like we carried out with the X-point target. This is the accuracy and precision the X-Guide gives you. Every implant, every patient, every time.
Great. Chris, thank you so much for that explanation of the X-Guide system. I feel like I learned so much about the X-Guide and how it works and all the benefits that it can provide. There are so many clinical benefits to having the implant in the correct position, angle, and depth. So thank you for explaining the X-Guide to us. We also did receive some questions during the demonstration, and so I am going to address some of those questions now. And Chris, maybe you could answer them for our audience.
That's great. Thanks for having me, and thanks everyone for your time on this beautiful Thursday in Philadelphia. Look forward to answering questions. Go ahead, let's start.
Okay, so the one question that we received was about planning, and the question came up about the planning software. Do you plan the implants in your own software or use a different one?
Great question. So the X-Guide comes with our own planning software, our X-Guide planning software. It gives you all the basic tools and a lot of the advanced tools that you need for singles, doubles, even all on 4 multiple implants. But we also have great strategic partners with softwares that you can actually plan in that are more prosthetically driven, such as DTX Implant or 3Shape Implant Studio, where you can actually plan some more advanced cases and export out as a .xguide file and bring that in and then do your calibration and go right into navigation. And there'll be more partners to come with that as well. So we are an open system when it comes to implants into your drill burrs, as well as we'll keep adding more and more softwares. Whatever you like to use, we hope to be able to partner with your favorite. But our software is fantastic. We've made it fast and easy to use.
Excellent. Thank you so much for that. Another question here we have is about the parts. And the question is, are the parts autoclavable?
Oh, great questions. Yes, everything that comes with the X-Guide is autoclavable. The only disposable of the system is our X-Clip, which that is that plastic piece that you make per patient, and that holds the patient tracker during surgery, so the cameras can see where the patient is in space in reference to the handpiece when it goes in to navigate. So everything is autoclavable and reusable.
Excellent. And now the question is regarding the handpiece. Can you use any handpiece?
Oh, great question. So handpieces, we fit onto many handpieces on the market. There is a huge list of them. Almost all the W&Hs, the Nuvag that's sold by Salvin, Cabo. We also have high-speed handpieces and straight handpieces that we can work with. So if you would like a more encompassing list, that's something we can follow up with as you contact us, and we'll send out the list.
Great. Thank you. Thank you very much. So the next question we have is about setting up the office. And the question is, how long does it take to calibrate or set up the patient for surgery?
Great question. So the X-Guide is designed, the workflow is fast enough to scan, plan, and navigate. So if you have a patient walks in, you have a hole in your schedule, you've taken your CT and said, yes, you're a great candidate for an implant, let's go and do it navigated. We can be very minimally invasive. You sell the patient on the procedure. Within 3 to 10 minutes, you can actually set up all the parts and pieces for navigating. So our instrument kit, calibration takes about 3 minutes. Planning a single or double implant in our software, 3 to 5 minutes once you're proficient at it. And you can be right into navigating that case.
Excellent. The next question that we received was regarding training and how do you learn to use the product?
These are great questions. So training. So with the cost of the machine, a day and a half of training is included at your office. And that's important because we need to train not only the doctors on how to navigate, which we've made very easy using our single point of view X-Point target, but also staff workflow. Look, when you add any technology, this is a change to workflow. And I just said it takes 3 minutes to calibrate, but of course, everyone has to learn. So our group of trainers, we have our own trainers internal, they're fantastic. So it's a full day of training from learning how to calibrate, to planning software, to practicing on sawbones, to really understand how the target works, both in mandible and maxilla, as well as cleaning and sterilization. So we really encompass every step of the workflow. And then the next day, the half day, is live surgery day. So our staff helps your staff and you make sure you have 2 excellent, successful surgeries. You'll get done your surgeries and go, wow, this is the accuracy that I want with every patient.
Excellent. Thank you for answering that. We have 2 questions that are a little bit similar on different topics. So can you use the product for navigated edentulous and full arch is one, and then also a question about using navigated endodontics. So
great question. So for full arch, yeah, you know what? If you're looking at the X-Guide now and thinking about it for your year-end purchase for your Section 179 tax write-off, it's a perfect time now. Full arch is one of the areas that we've really excelled at. We've had a couple of releases throughout the years with XMark, which is our virtual registration. and also with some temporary fixation, which is called our EDX screws, both of which we received FDA clearance with. So for full arch, the biggest advantage now is there's no need for any fiducial markers or markers in the CT in order to register the XNav cameras, XGuide cameras to your system. That's great for workflow. The other advantage with our temporary fixation devices is once you are registered, the attachments allow you enough room to do your extractions for your terminal dentition cases, as well as your ridge reduction. And it just works so fantastically for terminal to fully edentulous cases. When it comes to endodontic access, so we did receive our FDA clearance for endo access for calcified canals, for calcified pulp chambers, for apicos. Our customers have been doing this off-label, but with partnering with the University of Maryland Endo, we did get that clearance. And with high speed, I'll tell you, when you think about the challenges you have with calcified canal access, if you can find it in the CT, you can navigate to it. It is a time saver. It's minimally invasive. It's just really spectacular, the accuracy that you get and able to do that. And especially giving you more options. You know, maybe you wouldn't think about an apico and doing that root end resection with navigation. It really takes the exploratory surgery out of it. You're doing minimally invasive access to get into the end of that root. It's really just fantastic. And you can be as minimally invasive as you want to. So if you're trying to save the structure of the tooth for a calcified pulp chamber, it's really, you can find that the beginning of that canal without cutting a large hole. You can then navigate and make the hole as large as you need to for whatever that patient needs to clean out the pulp chamber, but you get that accuracy and precision every time. So I'd say in the last 2 years, if you've been looking at us, that's some of our biggest areas for growth is full arch and for endodontics.
Excellent. Thank you so much for answering both of those questions. The last question we have here is the cost of the system.
Oh, fantastic. Sales reps always like to hear the question of cost. So very proud of the cost. It's very affordable. The unit is to get your entry in is $34,900. And there is a per case fee for that disposable, which we mentioned earlier, which is your X clip. And that's only $99 per jaw. It doesn't matter whether you place 1 implant or 10 on that jaw. It's just for that disposable. And fortunately, the way it works is as you buy those ongoing, currently there's no yearly fee for software updates and support. The only optional yearly fee is extended warranty, which is your parts insurance. And that's at a low cost yearly of $1,500.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Chris. It looks like that's all the questions that we have for right now. So I would like to thank you again for providing such an informative demonstration of the product and answering all of the questions with such great information. As we mentioned, the clinical benefits of navigated surgery and using the XGuide system for dental implant placement are so many, and that information can be accessed on your website at www.xnavtech.com. There are clinical case studies, product reviews, and additional information that anyone can access. Thank you, Chris, and thank you to everyone who joined us today for this live demonstration. Have a great day.
Thanks, Michelle. Thanks, everyone.